For a long time, there was just one Arsenal captain. Tony Adams was given the armband in 1988 and skippered the club across 3 decades, winning plenty of silverware on the way. His replacement wasn't too bad either. Patrick Vieira led them to another Premier League title. For nearly 20 years, Arsenal needed just 2 captains. But they lost that stability. Some great players have since worn the armband, but for one reason or another, it didn't quite work out. Some were hit by injury, others were sold, often against the fans' wishes. William Gallas was stripped of the captaincy, while Lauren Koscielny rocked the club in the summer by going on strike. So that brings us to Granit Xhaka, who was voted in as captain by his teammates, a midfielder who divided opinions of fans and pundits. His reign lasted less than 6 weeks. Booed off the pitch by his own fans and by his own admission, he reached boiling point. He would later reveal he had been abused repeatedly in the stadium and on social media with threats directed at his family. But is this just the norm for a Premier League footballer?
This should have been nipped in the bud 3 hours after the game tops. They should have been brought into the manager's room, Xhaka. They should have sat down. They should have sat down with the press man or whoever and said, let's nip this in the bud now. Let's go out. Really sorry. Didn't mean to do what I'd done. Frustrated. Loved the club. Bang, wallet crash. Job done.
When Xhaka's number came up that day, and he got some of the ironic cheers and stuff like that, I didn't like that. And and there was many people around me who were like looking at other fans and saying, "Oh, come off it," And I think that his initial reaction when he sort of went, yeah, it was almost like he was saying, "Oh yeah, you're blaming it all on me." I agreed with that, but I think after that, when he deliberately walked off slowly, swore at the fans, threw down the armband, I thought that was out of order by Xhaka. You know what I mean? I think that is where there was even people around me who were saying to other people, "Come off it," when he got the ironic cheers.
Granit, I've never had any problems with him. None of the players have ever had any problems with him. He's a great lad to have around the changing rooms. And I just think what happened to him was something between him and the fans, and what's going to be the output of that is nothing to do with me. And I just know I can support the team and support Granit and thank the fans for the support. That's sort of my role in this.
Listen, it's an emotional game, and fans forever have always had their views and opinions on certain players. And I think fans are entitled to, as long as it's not unfairly done.
Xhaka posted an explanation of his reaction on social media and reached out to the fans, asking for mutual respect. Less than a week later, he was the captain no more.
It's not my job to try and shape people's views. If we come out of a game and we've just been beaten, badly, and the performance has been really poor, I can't try to pretend and paint a picture that the fans are all happy. And I think it's been very hypocritical of some media outlets, because they've tried to literally say, well, you guys are criticising the players and that's whipped it up. But then they'll write an article straight afterwards saying the manager should be sacked.
It just went on and on and on. Xhaka didn't really come out and apologise properly like he did. I just thought it was poor from the moment it happened, which I can understand Xhaka. I really can. Heat of the moment. He turns up week in, week out. Even if he isn't playing well, he's always on that team sheet. He never hides. And he was frustrated. And he'd done something that if he could do it another 10 times, he wouldn't do it. But he'd done it that day, and he's had to pay, and I don't think it's right.
When you see the statement doesn't come out and apologise specifically. It is an apology, but not. It still says that he believes that the fans weren't doing what they should have been doing, i.e. they're there to support, they're there to make the team feel better about themselves, and they weren't doing that. So he's kind of protected himself a little bit. But I do think that within sport generally, we see a type of player that will protect themselves, will protect their confidence by deflecting any negativity away from themselves.
Xhaka's statement just wasn't enough. Unai Emery refused to pick him in the aftermath of the controversy, leaving his future in serious doubt.
Do you think he'll play for the club again?
I wouldn't say never, because I don't think Arsenal are good enough for Xhaka to be just pushed aside. Well, you could tell that by the results. He's been out the team, they haven't won a game. So for me, it'll be interesting. But for me, I'm not his biggest fan. but he gets in my team, that Arsenal team.
So, Xhaka is out, Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang is in, a ready-made replacement straight from Emery's captaincy group. Emery likes selecting several players who can potentially be called on to lead the team.
And the idea is that you have more than just one person reinforcing the manager's position, and that if there's any tension between the captain and the manager, then you still have other people spreading a positive message about how people are going to play. I think that they've become fashionable over the past 5 years, and I think there are pros and cons to it. The pros really are that perhaps we make people feel involved, yeah? Perhaps it's easier to get people to buy in if we've got key people reinforcing those messages.
No, it started off bad in the first place, having a vote. I mean, come on, that's Sunday morning football. That's what you do with kids. Or you might as well just say the nearest one's birthday, you can be the captain. I mean, this is Arsenal. You know, he's the manager. He makes big decisions. You pick the captain. Don't let the players pick the captain. And that showed a bit of weakness, you know, just jumping away from confrontation. For me, he should have said, I'm picking the manager. I'm going to pick the captain. I'm the manager. Not have a vote. I mean, seriously, that's what you do on a Sunday morning.
So Aubameyang becomes the 10th full-time club captain since Tony Adams. So what are the chances of him following the footsteps of the Arsenal legend?
You know, what I always used to look at with a captain was when you come off the pitch at half-time and you're not having a good game, you can still you can still talk in the dressing room, not go and sit in the corner and go, better not say anything today because I'm having a nightmare. They still keep on saying stuff, even on the pitch. You know, they don't just look after themselves. They go, right, I'm not playing well, but I'm still going to try and pick the team up. And that's, for me, that's a leader. I mean, Tony Adams and Xhaka, no disrespecting leader-wise. You know, Tony and a couple of others above everybody.